All right, let's talk about a place that's practically legendary for all the wrong reasons, the Bermuda Triangle. It's a name that immediately makes you think of ghost ships and planes vanishing into thin air. But is it really a paranormal vortex? Or just one of the greatest stories ever told? Let's dive in. So first off, where are we even talking about? Well, if you were to draw a line on a map from Miami to Bermuda, then down to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and back up to Miami, that massive triangular chunk of the Atlantic Ocean, that's our stage. This is the setting for all the bizarre stories we're about to get into. For decades, this patch of ocean has had this reputation for swallowing things whole. Ships, planes, people, just gone. So the big question we're tackling today is, what is really going on in the Bermuda Triangle? To really get to the bottom of this legend, we've got to go back, way back. And you might be surprised to hear who filed the very first strange report from this region. It's a name you'll definitely recognize. I'm not kidding. The first documented weirdness comes from Christopher Columbus himself. Yep, back in 1492, he wrote in his ship's log that his compass was going haywire. And on top of that, he and his crew saw this strange flickering light on the horizon that just disappeared. Okay, now let's fast forward a few centuries, because this is when the legend really starts to take shape. It's a period that earned the area a seriously chilling nickname, the home of the vanishing fleet. The stories just kept piling up, and each one seemed stranger than the last. In 1881, a ship is found just floating, completely empty, a true ghost ship. But get this, the rescue crew sent to board it also vanished. Then in 1918, the massive U.S. Navy ship, the USS Cyclops, just gone. No distress call, nothing. In 1941, another one, the USS Proteus, lost. And then the most famous case of all, 1945, Flight 19. An entire squadron of 5 U.S. bombers, they all disappeared during a simple training mission. You know, the loss of the USS Cyclops really puts a human face on this. We're talking about over 300 people who just vanished off the face of the earth. No mayday, not a single piece of wreckage, not one body ever recovered. It's just chilling to think about. And look, these weren't just a few isolated cases. When you add it all up, more than 70 incidents have been attributed to the triangle. We're talking about something like 50 planes and 20 ships lost over the years. So, how did all these separate incidents, spread out over decades, get woven into this single, terrifying global legend? Well, it definitely didn't happen by accident. Okay, here's a little fact that might blow your mind. The name Bermuda Triangle wasn't even invented until 1964. It was perfect timing, really. People were fascinated with the space race, with UFOs, with the unexplained. So once this area got a catchy, ominous name, all those separate incidents suddenly felt connected, creating this illusion of a single, cursed place. And hey, with a name like the Bermuda Triangle, it's no surprise that the theories got pretty wild. We're talking about aliens, sea monsters, time warps, ancient curses from Atlantis, you name it. It was the supernatural cocktail of ideas that really turned a collection of maritime accidents into a blockbuster legend. The myth really exploded in 1974 with Charles Berlitz's book, simply called The Bermuda Triangle. It was a runaway bestseller. We're talking 20 million copies sold, translated into 30 languages. It made the author a millionaire and did such a good job blending fact with fiction that it basically cemented the Bermuda Triangle myth in pop culture forever.
So, we've heard the spooky stories, the wild theories, and all the hype. But what does actual science have to say about all this? This is where we really start to separate fact from fiction.
On one hand, you've got the myth, with all its talk of supernatural forces and alien abductions. And on the other hand, you have science, which offers much more, down-to-earth explanations. Things like extreme weather, known natural phenomena, and just simple probability. So what are these logical explanations? Well, for starters, the Bermuda Triangle is smack dab in the middle of Hurricane Alley. The Gulf Stream can also create sudden, violent storms and rogue waves that can absolutely obliterate a ship or a plane, and that would explain why wreckage is often so hard to find. Oh, and remember Columbus's compass going crazy? This is actually one of the few places on Earth where true north and magnetic north align, which can totally mess with a traditional compass if you don't know how to correct for it. But here it is, the real kicker. When scientists and, more importantly, insurance companies actually analyzed the data, they found that the Bermuda Triangle is no more dangerous than any other busy stretch of ocean. It's just a normal place with a very, very spooky reputation. Okay, so if the Bermuda Triangle isn't some kind of supernatural hotspot, what's the reality of it today? Let's put things in perspective for a second. Over the last 200 years, about 20 major ships have been lost in the Triangle. But in just the last 10 years, over 200 ships have gone down in the South China Sea. Yet you don't hear any spooky stories about the Philippines Square, do you? So why don't we hear about new Bermuda Triangle mysteries all the time? Well, the answer is pretty simple: technology. With modern radar, GPS, and amazing weather satellites, we can track ships and planes in real time and see dangerous storms coming from a mile away. The mystery has largely been solved by innovation. The last major incident was in 2015, when the cargo ship SS El Faro tragically sank in a hurricane, killing all 33 people on board. It was a terrible loss, but here's the key difference from the old stories. We knew what happened, and unlike those earlier incidents, the wreckage was eventually found. And of course, there's always room for a good conspiracy theory. Some people believe the CIA actually invented the Bermuda Triangle myth to scare off Soviet submarines during the Cold War. Pretty wild, huh? You know, maybe the easiest way to think about it is this. The Bermuda Triangle is kind of like your washing machine. You put in 2 socks and sometimes only one comes out. It's a mystery for sure, but you don't call the men in black every time you lose a sock, do you? The story of the Bermuda Triangle is a great example of how a few unrelated events, a catchy name, and a whole lot of hype can create a modern myth. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other mysteries out there are just waiting for a simple, logical explanation.